Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. My name is Elric, and this is the second video in the FEC series, where we will be ripping all of the political finance expenditures from our public government data set website. Blah. So in this video, I'm going to show you how I am ripping the files that we downloaded in the last video into a more consumable format for my system. We are going to transform them into JSON before we send them to a procedure that looks similar to the ones in the Reddit bot series, because everything is connected. And that's why I kind of want to do multiple series at the same time to show anyone that multiple groups of developers, multiple applications can be developed at the same time if your team is in sync. So hope you enjoy, and I will see you soon. Alrighty, so I did make a procedure to extract this data from the file, but I took all the code out so I can explain what I had actually did. So I'm operating under a new tenant, meaning that I have a Federal Election Commission application here, and it has a root group and it has a main group, both under the tenant. And a tenant is kind of someone who leases data in our system. So with that in mind, I have to go one more. If I'm operating under the FEC candidate or FEC tenant, I get access to different things that I normally wouldn't in other tenancies. So that's how we are splitting data based on the tenant. So for importing these files, something I want to show is that I created a new data set in my table. And since there's only one right now, I can do this. This is the data set name. And let me get the key name because that's actually important too. Oh. So I gave this tenant a specific data set, a table, or actually just the data set because it's under the realm of file, the family or class of common family of text because it's a .txt, and type of pipe delimited because it's pipe delimited. So that is this. Then this data set is linked to that chain of types, and this is the candidate file because when we're exporting the zip, we are always getting cn.txt. So that's why we're naming it cn, so we can actually clean up the code I'm about to show you a lot better. Sorry. So I'm going to copy this dataset ID and then undo the things that I did because that represents the dataset. Now I can do I want to get the columns that I defined for this FEC specific file data set, and they match the columns with the descriptions that I pulled from the website for what is supposed to be in the file that we're trying to parse. So I have candidate zip, election year, candidate ID name, all that stuff. And because they are using specific types like House, President, Senate, challenger, incumbent, open, statutory candidate, all this stuff in this file, it kind of helps me describe why these things exist, because normally you don't use descriptions on columns, but when we're talking about loading, well, sometimes they're provided to us. So far, when I say I need to update my candidate for 2002, or I need to grab my candidate file for 2002, it's going to come into this table and pull the column list. And I have this printout right here because I'll run this in a moment. And after it gets its column list, well, it knows what fields it needs in the Python script. The fields for the CSV file and the delimiter pipe, which again, I said, because of the type, we could remove this and look up the type abbreviation and just put the type abbreviation here. So we could have CSV, TSV, PSV, whatever we need. So this is just the simple Python script that will open the file location for the field names given this data set, and then return JSON. So let's see if I can run it right now. Sweet. So only 3,900 rows, but you see this data point list concatenation function is generating that item, that Python fields list for us. And then it's returning the JSON from a pipe delimited file. And I can go a little further. We can use the with statement to get like a table, something that looks a lot better. But we're going to stick with the JSON. I do use this with statement sometimes to make sure that all of my columns are lining up. And through consistency, because in the previous video I did download 2004, it should still work. It does. Awesome. We're getting different data back. And 2006, awesome. Still same format. 3,700 rows in 2006, 38 in 2004, and I believe it was 39. Yep, 39 in 2002. So this very simple script is what we'll be using to grab that file and then send it out to JSON. In the higher level procedure, we're going to send it a tenant, the year we want, whether it's candidate, committee, whatever the files that we're looking at, and then we'll get JSON coming out. And then elsewhere in the system, that JSON coming out, oh, that should not be there. Elsewhere in the system, we will use that JSON to parse it into our system. So that is it for this video. In the next video, we'll set up our mapping table to make use of that JSON file or that JSON object. So thank you very much for watching. And remember, like this video and YouTube will recommend it to other users in our industry, and subscribe to support me. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.